I get so many comments asking me why I don't fight back against all the negative people out there, the ones who tell us the batteries catch fire every 2 years, they'll only last 3 years and you've got to buy a new one, and if you're filling up at 79 pence every week and it takes 6 hours to do it, nobody in their right mind. You know, the sort of thing. And I've always resisted it. And the reason I resist it is because I actually read all those comments and see what's going on. But a lot of you don't. So what I'm going to do today is a little bit different. We're going to have a look at one of the trains of thought that's going on. And you're going to now start to understand why, if you try to convince someone else that they're wrong or that EVs are for them, why you might be having such a difficult task. Anyway, I'm Dave. So welcome to Dave Takes It On. And let's have a look what we're doing. Now, the purpose of this is not to ridicule anyone and not to make anyone look small or try and attack anyone. The purpose of this is to show you what we're up against with some people. So in this case, I'm not going to identify his identifier, his email address or whatever it was he used to comment. If anyone really wants to, I don't recommend you do it. If anyone really wants to, you can look on the channel and you find the comments in there. And if you look far enough, you'll find them. But you really don't need to, and I don't recommend you doing it. But I actually said recently a video which said range may not be so important to you. If I personally am stopping on a long journey every 2 hours because of my age, I can't do 6-hour journeys anymore. But if I'm stopping every 2 hours, all I do, and this is genuine, all I do is every time I stop for a toilet break, coffee break or a lunch break, I just make sure I plug in. And if I stop for 10 or 15 minutes, I can add 50 miles, 60, 70 miles, whatever it is during that time. And if I stop for lunch and I'm stopping for an hour, 3/4 of an hour, something like that, I can usually top the battery right the way back up again. So to me, it doesn't matter if my car can do 300 miles or 600 miles, as long as it can get me to my next stop, that's fine. And with today's motorway speed, I know it says 70, but we average about 60 on a motorway, roadworks, traffic and everything else. So in a 2-hour, 3-hour drive, which is about my limit, I can do 100, 150 miles, something in that region, quite comfortably. And over lunch, I can replace that quite comfortably as well. So I said, for some people, maybe range is not important. What might be more important is how quickly it charges, so that when you do plug in, it charges really quickly. And even if you only have a 5-minute toilet break, you'll come back to 30 or 40 miles. So that was the gist of the video. So I got this reply. I'm going to read it out to you. It says, sure, fit to your needs, but range would not be important if you could charge very quickly. What most people do not know is that most chargers are V2, which takes a Tesla Model Y at least 8 hours to charge fully. You need a V3, which is not as usual to find, in order to get the charge time down to under 1 hour. And that is only if your car has DC fast charging, and several brands don't offer this. I think this is why some people consider range first. Okay, so we're just going to have a look back over those and have a look at it. And what we're talking about here is someone who's very confused about what's going on. Most people don't know that Model Y takes 8 hours to charge. Well, yeah. The most popular car in the world today is the Model Y. So there's over 1 million people out there got one. They are amazingly popular cars. And I'm sure they all know exactly what their car can get. And it's not 8 hours at a fast charger. At a rapid charger, sorry, at a V2. The V2 chargers are Tesla superchargers. They're 150 kilowatt. So if you go to V2, which he quotes, you're going to be able to charge your Tesla Model Y half an hour, 40 minutes, something in that region. It's certainly not 8 hours. Where he, I believe, is getting confused is that he thinks a V2 is a Type 2. And a Type 2 obviously is what we call a fast charger, but they're not. These are down at 7 kilowatts, some of them. And that might well take 8 hours, but you wouldn't use one of those on a road trip. You'd use one of the ultra rapids, 250 or 350 kilowatts. So he's got a certain bit of confusion here. I can understand that. Obviously, he's not an EV driver. And obviously, he's done a little bit of research into this to try and find out what's going on, but totally misunderstood what a V2 is. So let's just go on a little bit, because I replied to him. And I said to him, I think you might have confused a V2 with a Type 2. All cars have CCS2 sockets, and all cars today can charge DC at an incredibly fast rate, and it will average somewhere around about half an hour or 40 minutes. If you plug in to a home charger, that might take 8 hours. So that was it. I was trying to educate him. I was trying to say that, there are a lot of people out there fast charging, rapid charging exceedingly happily, and he may not be entirely right. It was done quite nicely. I wasn't taking him down. It was just, I think you might have confused a Type 2 with a V2. Type 2 is typically 7 kilowatts, a V2 is 150 kilowatts. So here we go. So we got a reply. Seems you're the one that doesn't know. The Model Y has an 84.6 kilowatt hour battery pack. Doesn't. Not 50, which I quoted. They've never had a 50 kilowatt hour Model Y battery pack. The smallest ever was 60 kilowatt. That's gross volume. Yeah, the actual usable is 55. But nobody buys that one in America. In actual fact, that is the best-selling model. Time to charge with AC 11 kilowatt connection to the Model Y is 8 hours 16 minutes. That is V2. Okay, so there's again confusion here. 11 kilowatt charger, yeah, that could take 8 hours 16 minutes. I doubt it, but it could. He's quoting it 8 hours 16 minutes via a V2. The Tesla Model Y is fitted with an 11 kilowatt onboard charger for Type 2 AC charging as standard. That's absolutely fine. It is correct. All EVs have a Type 2 charger on board. That means when connected to a fast charger with which is rated output above 11 kilowatts, the Y will only ever be able to charge at 11 kilowatts. To charge faster requires a 210 kilowatt DC charger referred to as Type 3. Few of the public chargers available are Type 3, so you don't know, well, S blank blank T, fill in the dots. So starting to descend into a bit of abuse, but he's mixing facts here. Every EV, mine as well, has an onboard AC charger. Absolutely correct. They all do. And it may be confusing to him, but every EV out there also has a Type 2. And that Type 2 plugs into the same socket. On a Model Y, it's a CCS2 socket, but the Type 2 plugs into the top bit. If you use CCS, it uses the top and the bottom. The bottom terminals are for the ultra high speed DC direct current charging. So he's thinking that because you can plug a Type 2 into it, if you plug a DC charger into it, referred to as a Type 3, they're not Type 3, I don't know what Type 3 is, that you'll only ever get 11 kilowatts. So that's obviously going wrong. If you plug into a Type 2, which is 22 kilowatts, and there are plenty of these about, my car and the Model Y will only charge at 11 kilowatts. But the second you plug it into any DC charger, it uses those two pins at the bottom, and you will get whatever the DC rate is up to the maximum of your car. So he's trying to tell me, someone who's been driving a car for 4 years, who runs a channel on EVs, that he knows better than me, which is fine. So at this point, it wasn't just me replying to him. A lot of my regular viewers chipped in as well, basically telling him you might be wrong on this, some of them not as friendly as others. So I corrected that and I said exactly the same again. Now, if you use the AC, you'll always get 11 kilowatts on a Model Y. That could take up to 8 hours. But all EVs now have DC fast charging, all of them, and they will charge up to, with Tesla's, 250 kilowatt. So back he comes. And he says, no, you're a straight liar. Doesn't matter if a V2 could charge at a maximum of 150 kilowatt. The AC charger in BEVs, not just Tesla now, but Vs, can only accept 11 kilowatts. So it takes 8 hours to charge a Model Y with one. You can't even charge a Model Y in 20 minutes on a DC V3 charger, so you're a liar. It takes an hour to fully charge an 84.5 kilowatt hour battery on a V3. And then it goes into real insults. You can make up the story. You're attempting to provide the public with stinking lies to promote BEVs. There's a load of expletives after that one. And once again, I tried to do it calmly, saying, no, there are 2 charging circuits on every EV. There's a DC fast one, there's an AC slow one. And once again, we come back. You're a liar, stinking liar, providing totally false information to the public to promote BEVs. You can't charge that fast because the AC charger on the Tesla Model Y or any BEV can only accept 11 kilowatts on V2. Even on V3, it takes an hour to fully charge. Okay. Now an hour, not 8 hours, to fully charge an 84.5 kilowatt hour battery. None of them have. Not the 20 minutes like you say. You're a liar. Next thing you'll say is, oh, just do partial charge. Sure, charge more often because you only use 60% your actual small range before you have to charge again. And if your Y gets 225 miles totally exhausted, it gets only 150 if you only use 60%. You are going to charge every 2 hours of driving, total garbage. Okay, that I think was where the thread was left. And this is really interesting to me because this is what we're dealing with. So by this point, looking on the comment thread, dozens of people had joined in. I've got a Model Y charges in 35 minutes or whatever, etc. You can't only use 60% of the battery. You can use all of it on a run, particularly with LFP. You can go from 0 up to 100%. So what we have is a chap here who is trying to prove that EVs don't work for whatever reason. But he's getting little bits of garbled facts and putting them forward as the truth, as he sees it. And whatever we or dozens of other people comment, he knows we're wrong. He knows we're lying to try and flog people BEVs when they actually don't work. And yet the scary thing is that he changes halfway through. It takes a minimum of 8 hours to charge, and then it's all of a sudden, even at a V3, it will take an hour. It's getting closer. At a V3, going from 0 to 100% might take an hour, but not for most people, because the reason we don't charge that long is it's silly waiting around for the last 10%, even on LFP, by the way. But it really is this attitude that if I was trying to find something out, I would do it the opposite way. I would, and I've done this many times, I would say, look, you stated that you can charge a Model Y in 20 minutes. How do you get that figure? And that's a valid question. And if I then gave an answer and said, well, using a DC fast charger at 250 kilowatts, and my Model Y long range can take 250 kilowatts, and it's about in a Model Y long range, it's a 75 kilowatt hour battery. So putting in power, which goes in initially getting close to 250 kilowatt, but drops off quite quickly, but probably averages something over 100 kilowatts for the whole session. You can fill that battery in 30, 40, maybe 50 minutes tops. And I would explain that you have 2 chargers on board. One of them is an AC charger for if you're plugging into the mains. The other one is the DC charger if you're fortunate enough. But in this case, no, I'm right, you're wrong, you're lying to me, you're trying to con everyone else about it, and will come up with loads and loads of arguments, even arguing against himself, to try to prove I'm wrong. And the point of this video really is not to call him out or her. I don't even know who it is. Doesn't matter. But it's this attitude that I've been on Google, I've got one fact that I can use. I've searched everything. I found one fact I can use to try and destroy the EV industry overnight. I found out that all EVs have 11 kilowatt chargers on board. And therefore, if I've got an 85 kilowatt, I don't know where you get that from anyhow, but an 85 kilowatt hour battery, it's going to take me 8 hours to charge it. And that's his argument. So it's a made up argument. Now, he could, for example, go on to Google and ask Google, how long does it take to charge a Model Y at a DC fast charger? And Google will tell him. I'm not going to look it up. It'll probably say half an hour, an hour. It doesn't matter what the figure. It won't be 8 hours. So he could do that. He could also go on to one of the websites to try and find these facts that are going to kill the EV industry and find one, but he'll find that Tesla Model Y has something like a 20 to 80% charge rate in 20 minutes. I don't know what the actual figure is, but it's not 8 hours. So that should immediately start saying to him, maybe I've misunderstood what's actually going on with EVs. I've got no experience of them, never had one, never driven one, never charged one, but Google says, or whatever, and all of a sudden his argument starts falling apart. But rather than admit it, or rather than say, well, tell me more, it is, no, you're lying to me. And at this point, that's when the conversation stops, because there's no point whatsoever me spending 1 minute telling him the truth if all he's going to do is come back, swear at me and lie and call me a cheat and conning people. So message to you all, if someone wants to listen to you, I would talk to them all day long, and I do this on a regular basis. If someone shows a genuine interest, if someone's got a real question, is it true that a Model Y out on the road takes 8 hours? No, let me show you, and I can show you on my app. Mine is charging at the rate of 250 kilowatts, and at this rate, it says on here, I've got 17 minutes left for the charge. I've only been here 20 minutes. So you can actually show people what they're interested in, and you can show them what's happening. But people like this are just closed. They've searched the internet, Google, whatever, to find the one thing that is going to destroy the EV industry, and they will tell everyone about it, promulgate that everywhere. And so I don't waste my time with them anymore. I followed this one particularly for this video because I thought some of you might be interested in seeing what happens. Anyway, thanks very much for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you don't get involved with people like this. They're not worth it. If anyone comes up to you, ask you questions, tell them the truth. If anyone's showing an interest, go and approach them, just talk to them. What do you think of it? That's fine. And if they've got any genuine questions, help them, guide them towards this or other EV channels, which may be able to help them. But don't get involved in people like this. By the way, since then, I've had several others which are so much worse, I won't even talk about them or show them. It's such a shame. Thanks for watching. I'm Dave.